Yo, what's up everybody? It's Dykenstein here bringing you another Genshin Impact discussion video, and we just had a nice follow-up discussion over on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/DykenXDan. If you're not following already, you definitely should be. But yeah, we had a very good follow-up discussion to the video that I made previously about the current state of Genshin Impact. And pretty much it was everything talking about like what does free-to-play mean to you, the like gacha game mentality that people should have, and are gacha games detrimental to human health? Basically discussions that we had before, but basically reworked in a mindset that we currently have today. So I definitely want to take the time to talk about these with you now, and basically just give you guys my thoughts about, you know, what does free to play mean to various players, the gacha game mentality, and are gacha games actually inherently detrimental to the human health? Let's talk about it. Before we begin, I want to give a quick shout out to everyone that's been engaging with these discussion based videos and content. I definitely appreciate it. I appreciate the support for that for sure. So if you do like these type of videos, let me know by liking this video and leaving a comment letting me know other gacha game related discussions you want to have on a general basis or Genshin Impact. I definitely want to hear what you guys got to say because I love doing these type of videos and having these engaging discussions with you all. But first off the bat, I want to talk about the gacha game mentality and how that could be detrimental to the human health and all that nature. So right off the bat, we need to talk about like exactly what the formula of gacha games typically is. When we think about gacha games, you typically have a honeymoon phase. When we talk about honeymoon phases, we're typically talking about the first month or two within the gacha game, where you're getting a bunch of free stuff every time you level up. You're getting a bunch of refreshes and free rewards are everywhere, and like there's probably like a, you know, the launch bonus of the game if you're starting the game as soon as it starts and stuff like that, or like a bunch of newbie bonuses, and there's like a bunch of guidelines, all this brand new stuff to do, all these things to unlock and all that. You know the feeling when you start a brand new gacha game, they're just throwing free stuff at you nonstop. It feels like, you know, this is never going to end, and it feels good, right? Now once you pass that month to two mark, that's when you get to really see the game for what it is. That's what people call, like, you know, either the mid game or end game for that game or whatever. It is typically around the time where you're going to be logging in, essentially doing your dailies, doing the event if there is an event for your game up right now, and then pretty much essentially logging off. And that is your content for the day for a gacha game. You know, it's nothing really too crazy, and sometimes people, I guess, expect for there to be more things. When we look at Genshin, people are always talking about more content, but at the core of a gacha game for most, if not all gacha games, the core essential is just doing your dailies, doing whatever event there is to do, and then simply logging off for the day until it's time for the next day where your stamina is refreshed once again to do what you just did again. That's just simply what the formula is, and that's just how gacha games are. So these can be detrimental to the human health in a certain sense because of how people view them and like how they work, because gacha games are essentially an endless loop. If we think about it that way, you know, what is the point of a gacha game? What are you essentially doing? If we look at Genshin Impact, what is the point of getting characters? There's really no point. You just want characters, right? You get the characters to build more artifacts, to get more weapons, to beat Spiral Abyss again with the character, to get more currency, to get more characters, to level up more artifacts, to get more weapons, to beat the Abyss again, to get more characters, to beat the events again, to beat more characters, to get the artifacts. It's the same thing over and over and over again, like repeating. You know, if you're a person that doesn't care about the lore and the story, then this essentially is the endless loop that is there for you within gacha games. And this is why it can be detrimental to the human health, because of this endless cycle loop that can control people over time when they don't see what it is for what it actually is. And this could be a very scary thing. Now, this isn't to say that there isn't nothing really to strive for when you get new characters. There are ways within gacha games to make it feel like the things that you're trying to progress towards can be meaningful. And this is usually done in PvE games in the form of some type of guild service or something like that. When you have a guild and you have an obligation to a sort of team in these like raid battles or whatever, you feel like your damage is important to the contribution of the team to basically defeat these bosses and earn the rewards together. Therefore, you are basically more motivated to level up more characters, to strategize, to work with your teammates to get the highest damage possible in order to defeat these bosses in, you know, the quickest or fastest manner, or the most efficient manner to say, to basically get the rewards as fast as possible. That's typically what these type of guild systems are for. Now, I don't know if Genshin Impact is going to do a guild system, so that's why it's a little bit more iffy as to like what's the motivation to level up characters in this game. And that's why, once again, stating in my other video, I was agreeing with other players that was giving the idea of giving cosmetics for harder versions of the event content. Now, there were other things that people were talking about with event content, and they wanted like to say they want them to be permanent. And I understand the problem of trying to keep some of this content actually permanent, and that is because the mobile version of the game probably couldn't hold all this content. You got to remember that this game is focusing on PC, mobile, and console as well. So with the mobile constantly having these updates as well, it gets harder for them to keep this content intact, and that's why they probably got to remove the majority of the things that come with these events, because the mobile devices just can't hold all this stuff. I mean, you got to think about they're trying to put all these regions and stuff. Just think about this game 2 to 3 years down the line and how big it's going to be on a mobile device compared to it is now, without all this extra stuff from the events that would accumulate over time if they happen to keep some of this stuff that you guys are requested for them to keep within the game at the moment. You know, this game would just be even bigger than it is now. So just keep that in mind, that it is supposed to be for mobile devices as well. Now, moving on to the concept of greedy gacha companies and stuff like that, and this idea of what's free to play to you, is a topic that I definitely want to talk about. And you know, it gets talked about all the time about companies being greedy and stuff like that when it comes to gacha games or whatever. They're trying to get your money and stuff. And once again, I talked about this a little bit in my state of the game for Genshin Impact video, and I don't really think gacha game companies are out there. Once again, just talking about the financial standpoint, if you are spending in these games, you should be, you know, financially capable enough to make these type of decisions, to set a budget for yourself for what should be done with your actual bills and stuff, and then of course set some money aside for the other expenses that you want to do for fun, like spending on gacha games or whatever you do with your extra money. That is something that you should be able to do as a upcoming adult, or as an adult with financial stability. You know, that's something you should be able to do. That take care of that. But this also comes to the fact of, what does free to play mean to you? I think there's two main categories that fit for what free to play means to players, and Genshin Impact falls into definitely both of them. And that is, first one being characters being able to beat the content, the early game characters being able to beat the content, and the other one being how easy it is to get new characters. So let's talk about the first one. You know, speaking about Invasity again, he was able to beat just about all the content in the game with the base roster. So to a lot of people, that is considered a free to play game. When you're able to beat the majority of the content with, you know, relatively ease, or not really ease, but it's possible to beat the content with the base roster, and any other characters you get along the way is going to make that progress significantly easier. Another good game that I think is very free to play friendly is going to be like Arknights. You know, Arknights, a lot of content in that game has been done with like some of the lower units and stuff within that game as well. So, you know, people who see it in that way will say, hey, this game is very free to play friendly in that sense. Now, there's the other sense of other people that's like, well, I just want characters. And like, you know, if the game isn't dishing me out all the free currency to, you know, to pull for the characters I want, then the game to me isn't free to play. And that's another perspective that people got to keep in mind. So once again, it just depends on what line of defense you're on when it comes to that. Now, I don't think Genshin Impact is the most friendliest when it comes to its currency give out. I understand that people want more currency for characters, but then once again, you got to look out, why do you want the characters? Just so you can do the Spiral Abyss again with the probably the 6 characters you've been doing, but add one more character to the rotation? It's like, why do you want these characters? There's like, you know, no super high incentive or motive right now to like really want to build super more characters and like grind artifacts once again and stuff. There's no like real motivation for that yet. Once again, they do harder content for people and allow you to get cosmetics, and obviously that will boost motivational factors, and I can understand why do people want to do that. But yeah, honestly, generally, real question, tell me in the comments below, why do you guys want more characters besides because this character look cool and stuff like that? It's like, I understand, but you want them, but like, do you need them? It doesn't really affect like the overall standing of the gameplay. It may affect your like, I guess, the happiness of your experience because you really want the character, but of course they're going to come back. It's not like they're limited one time forever, you know, like that. So got to keep that in mind as well. Overall, yeah, these are the two main free to play factors. Once again, it comes with, is the game free to play when it comes to the characters that can beat it, or is it free to play as far as like how easy it is to get the currency to actually roll for the characters, and how good the rates are too. I guess that you can factor that in as well, because rates do matter, and Genshin don't have the best rates as well as not giving a lot of currency. So yeah, there's that too. Anyway, I think it's so important for people to understand how gacha games work as a fundamental base and how they could be detrimental to the human health, as there are this endless cycle that can definitely make people feel like they aren't progressing towards anything. And this is why people get so drawn out and they like lose interest in games and stuff like that. And you know, this can happen. You see it all the time. I see people in like Reddit forums all the time talking about like, you know, they used to love this game and now like they're falling out of it, or like, you know, they feel really bad and like, or they're just like spending a lot of money and they're not getting what they want. It's like, you just got to understand the real baseline of the game. And I think once people come to accept the baseline of the game and start to understand that, they will be able to make the correct choices for themselves personally, to where they don't fall behind in the parts of gacha games that could be detrimental to your health. Because in a sense, it is, you know, we are playing a gambling game, and with gambling you can fall to some phrase of addiction or whatever like that. But it is up to you to understand, you know, what part of the game is like, you know, addictive, and like how you not fall for that type of thing and stuff like that. The game isn't trying to manipulate you. It's just, obviously, when you're playing these type of games, it's your responsibility to know where to call it quits and stuff like that. You know, if you're not having a good time playing the game, go play something else. And gacha games shouldn't be something you're trying to play all day. You know, they have a stamina system for a reason. You know, they have these things in place for a reason for players, so they don't play all the time and stuff like that. And yeah, that's just what they're there for. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit more because, like I said, I thought it was a very important topic, and I just want to hear what you guys say. So let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about the free-to-play mentality. Which one do you fall under? How do you guys feel about the overall, like, the gacha game mentality, like the baseline of gacha games? Like, are you okay with this like sense of gacha games being this pointless, endless loop that they are? And like, how do you feel about this actually inheriting for the detrimental effects that it could affect on human health and stuff like that? Definitely want to hear what you guys think. I thought it was a pretty interesting discussion. We talked about it a long time ago, but I definitely just wanted to rework it towards Genshin Impact and just explaining to you guys like how this stuff works and why it is the way it is. Anyway, if you like anything I had to say today, drop me a like. I greatly appreciate it. And if you want to hear more from me, follow my socials. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you know the next video goes live. As always, my name is Dyken, and I'll see you next time. Signing out.